Welcome to the Deep Dive, where we take your stack of information and turn it into instant fluency. Today, we're jumping into a topic that feels like it should be front and center, but somehow it's completely ignored. We're talking about a technology gap, but not the one you think, not among students. This is about the gap among educators and administrators themselves.
It's a huge blind spot in the whole national conversation,
Right.
For years, all the energy has gone into student achievement gaps, digital divides, that sort of thing. But the sources you've pulled together, they point to this giant, almost embarrassing knowledge vacuum among the very people in charge.
And the core argument is that this gap isn't just some abstract problem. It's actively stopping students from learning the actual digital skills they're going to need.
Exactly. The high-value skills for the modern workforce.
Okay, so let's unpack this. The source material kicks off with a really powerful analogy. It's about recognizing a pattern of, foundational ignorance in leadership. And it doesn't start in a school. It starts in a KFC kitchen, of all places.
Right? It's this fantastic analogy. The author talks about seeing this problem years ago with kitchen managers. They couldn't, say, calculate a really complex chicken order, figure out inventory versus what they could sell.
Right.
But the real issue wasn't just that they couldn't do the math in their head. The real failure was they didn't even know that technology existed that could do it for them.
Yeah.
They were just operating with this complete ignorance about what was even technologically possible. And that put a hard ceiling on their own efficiency.
And that's the exact same pattern we're seeing today in schools, but with obviously much higher stakes.
That's the argument. You have teachers, administrators who are, they're fine with email. Maybe they can make a presentation, but they lack the basic digital fluency that defines professional life now.
And yet they're the ones insisting they're preparing kids for the future.
That's the disconnect. When the people designing the curriculum can't even perceive the tools that exist, they can't integrate them. The sources are pretty clear. This isn't just about being slow to change. It's a failure of imagination that gets baked into the system.
So if that's the big idea, we absolutely need a concrete example. And the sources provide, it's an almost legendary story from 2018. Just picture this. You're watching a curriculum director, and she's proudly showing off her district's new technology initiative.
Oh, the index card story. It's the perfect and frankly terrifying case study. This was in 2018, not 1998, 2018. And this district was teaching high schoolers to handwrite their bibliographies.
Handwrite.
On index cards, meticulously following MLA format.
Okay.
And they're presenting this totally manual, incredibly time-consuming process as preparation for college-level research.
That sounds almost made up. How big of a disconnect are we actually talking about here? Because citation management has been automated for a long time.
The gap is astronomical. Just think about the context. Software like EndNote or Zotero, these have been standard for serious academics for 2 decades. 2 decades.
Yet even if you don't have those, the basic tool.
Exactly. Microsoft Word, Google Docs, they have built-in citation generators that do it all for you. Instantly. The formatting, the bibliography, everything.
So instead of learning how to use a tool that would save them hours, these students were spending class time measuring indentations by hand.
And checking commas, guaranteeing that the second they hit a real college paper or a professional environment, they'd waste hours on grunt work a computer is supposed to do.
It's actually teaching inefficiency.
That's it. It's not just outdated. The instruction itself is the technology gap, painstakingly handwritten on a little 3x5 card.
So what happened when the author, suggested the alternative? What was the reaction when they mentioned using these modern tools?
This is the revealing part. The director reportedly just, quote, blinked at me like I had proposed they learn semaphore flags. It's the perfect image, right? It's a conceptual roadblock. It's not that she didn't want a better tool. She couldn't even conceive of a world where that task could be fully automated by software she probably already owned.
A failure of imagination, like you said.
That's so much more damaging than a budget cut.
And the justification. Because I'm sure she was confident this was the right way.
Oh, completely confident. Her defense was just this simple, unwavering statement. But this is how research is done.
Is done. Present tense.
Exactly. And the source nails it, saying that this was the confidence of someone who hadn't touched actual research tools since dial-up internet was a thing.
And they were secure in that. And this wasn't just some one-off, was it? She wasn't an outlier.
No, the sources make it really clear. This mindset, this absolute confidence in functionally extinct methods, it's widespread, especially in leadership.
So if the index cards are the symptom, Let's talk about the systemic disease. When districts talk about technology education, what are they actually teaching?
It's pretty depressing, actually. District after district, the pattern is shockingly consistent. Technology education means, for the most part, basic digital showmanship.
What does that mean in practice?
It means students are taught to make PowerPoint presentations, but not good ones. We're talking presentations loaded with, spinning text, chirping sound effects, aggressive flashing
Oh,
transitions.
yes, the glitter transition. I know it well.
The glitter transition. It's like teaching someone to cook by telling them to use every single spice in the cabinet all at once, in every dish. It's all decoration, zero function.
So if that's what's being taught, what are the core skills that are actually missing? The things employers are, screaming for?
Data fluency. That's the foundation of the modern economy. And it's almost completely absent. The sources are blunt. Almost nobody is teaching students how to really use Excel formulas, how to do meaningful data analysis, or even understand basic database concepts.
And those are the table stakes for almost any professional job now, right?
Any white-collar field. It doesn't matter if you go into marketing, biology, logistics, finance. It's the baseline.
Okay, let's break that down a bit. When you say Excel formulas, are we just talking about, like, adding up a column of numbers?
No, we're talking about the things that unlock real efficiency, high-value skills. Teaching students how to build a pivot table, for example, to summarize thousands of rows of data in seconds.
Right.
Or how to use functions like VLOOKUP or XLOOKUP to connect different data sets. Or even just simple conditional formatting to see trends instantly.
Things that turn a spreadsheet from a list into a diagnostic tool.
Exactly. But students are graduating knowing how to find the perfect piece of clip art, but they have no idea how to structure or interrogate data.
And the source has another really strong analogy to explain why these low standards just persist.
It does. It's a blunt observation. The blind were leading the blind, except the adult blind insisted they had perfect vision. It really explains the stagnation, though. Because if the people in charge genuinely believe that a flashing title slide is digital literacy, then there's no reason for them to change. There's no internal push to do the hard work of teaching data fluency.
They are convinced that what they're offering is good enough.
That it's adequate for the future.
I feel like I have to push back a little here. I mean, surely some of this is about budgets, right? Or just not enough time for teacher training. The system is under a lot of pressure.
And the sources do address that, but they draw a line between constraints and fundamental capacity. Budgets are always an issue, sure, but the tools for this stuff, cloud-based spreadsheets, basic data visualization, they're often free, or they're already part of the software licenses the school already pays for.
So the barrier isn't money.
The barrier is the failure of imagination we talked about. It's this crippling confidence that the old ways are still relevant.
Yeah.
The system literally doesn't know what it's missing.
Which means the end result for the student is, well, it's devastating. They leave school with digital skills that are basically useless in the real world.
Useless and sometimes, actively harmful. They know how to add distracting bells and whistles, but they can't perform basic professional tasks.
Like what?
Like generating a table of contents with a single click in a long document, or creating a simple dashboard to visualize information. They're fluent in showmanship, but they're completely incompetent when it comes to substance.
So if the solution seems so obvious, teach data, not decoration. Why is this so hard to change? What's the institutional mythology holding all this in place?
This might be the most important part of the whole analysis. The core reason is this underlying mythology, that technology is a separate subject.
Aha.
It's treated like this isolated thing you teach about. You do a special project on index cards, or you make one glittery presentation. It's not seen as a foundational tool you use to solve real problems in every other class.
So it's not the water everything swims in. It's more like a special isolated pool off to the side.
That's a perfect way to put it. And when you segment it like that, it never becomes a necessary embedded skill. Think about it. If a history teacher isn't fluent enough with spreadsheets to ask students to analyze demographic data with a pivot table, well, then that skill just gets stuck in a computer class that's still focused on spinning text.
It protects the old way of doing things.
Exactly. It minimizes the need for difficult, system-wide professional development for all the teachers.
And that just closes the loop, doesn't it? It comes right back to the educator's own skill level. Because if they aren't using these tools themselves in a sophisticated way, they can't even imagine how to integrate them into their teaching.
It's an almost perfect, inescapable feedback loop. The comfort level of the adult sets the ceiling for the students. That maintains the obsolete model, and it ensures the next generation of educators will probably be just as limited.
They're just teaching what they know.
They're teaching what they're comfortable with. And what they're comfortable with is, for all practical purposes, extinct in the professional world.
Wow. That was a very sober, very specific, and I have to say pretty exasperating deep dive into a problem that is clearly hiding in plain sight. So we've established the gap isn't really about a lack of resources. It's about a lack of fluency, a failure of imagination, and this really crippling confidence in methods that expired 2 decades ago.
We have to change the entire conversation. We need to stop asking, are we teaching technology? And start asking, are we teaching relevant technology? Because this failure to teach data fluency is going to cost this generation dearly.
So what does this all mean for you, the listener? Especially if you have kids in the system and you're watching them master clip art instead of pivot tables.
It means you have to recognize the sheer inertia of this system. We aren't just standing still while innovation races ahead. In a way, we're actively moving backward. And the final line from the source material, I think it's the perfect thought to leave you with. It kind of demands that we all reevaluate the standards we're willing to accept. We aren't closing the technology gap. We are cementing it one glitter transition at a time.